What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and we are so close to a Red Sox offseason. I can taste it, right? The thought of the Red Sox having such a wide open range of possibilities this 2023 offseason has been so frustrating and exciting since they ended their season back on October 5th or 6th. I've been waiting for the Red Sox offseason for so long now, and with the World Series winding down, we're starting to get to that point. Unfortunately, though, with the World Series still going on, we haven't had a ton of news, and one of the reasons for that is because of the unwritten rule within the MLB that when the World Series is going on, teams that are not in the World Series stay away from breaking any sort of news about player re-signings, about extensions, about opt-outs, stuff like that. It's mostly to keep the focus on the World Series, so we haven't heard a ton. But once in a while, a story will slip through the cracks, and that's what happened recently. A story came out that is especially cool for me because it was broke by a YouTuber, and specifically a Red Sox fan that is a YouTuber, I Talk Studios, a fantastic YouTube page. But he stated that the Red Sox are going to express interest in former MVP José Abreu. So I thought it'd be a fun idea on this video today to talk about what José Abreu coming to the Red Sox would look like. Should the Red Sox go after José Abreu? What his contract would look like on this team, and how it would affect the Red Sox going forward if José Abreu were to be brought to Boston. So that's what we're going to do today. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on these videos as well. It helps these videos out a ton. One more thing before we get into the video today, if you're interested in any sort of Red Seat merch, we have stickers, hats, the one I'm wearing right now. We got all sorts of stuff. Everything on our site right now is 20% off. So if you've been waiting to purchase some Red Seat merch, go ahead and do that. The link will be in the description of this video down below. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. As is the case with most free agents we talk about, I always like to look at whether or not a player could handle a bigger market like Boston first before we talk about statistics or anything. Obviously, Boston is one of the biggest markets in baseball, and that comes with its own set of challenges. Some players can handle, some players can, and it's important to try and be able to recognize that before you end up signing a guy and potentially wasting your money. As for José Abreu, Jose has spent 9 years with the Chicago White Sox. Now, obviously, Chicago in general is a great sports market, but specifically, I think the Chicago White Sox fans go a little bit under the radar in terms of how passionate they are about their team. I think they're a great fan base, and they come with their own set of challenges, so I don't think it's going to be too hard of a transition for a guy like José Abreu to come from Chicago to Boston. The question of whether or not can he handle the Boston media and the Boston expectations is something that we're not going to know until a player gets here, but based on past experiences, I have to assume José Abreu should be able to do that. As for his actual statistics in 2022, he had a pretty good year, although it wasn't the typical year we're used to seeing from Mr. Abreu, but that doesn't mean it wasn't productive. In 2022, José Abreu had an average of 304, an OPS of 824, with a 133 OPS plus, which is a great sign. It means that he's about 33% more productive at the plate than the average player in baseball. The one thing that was different than what's normally expected of José Abreu is the fact that his power numbers were way down. He only had 15 home runs and 75 RBIs, which for José Abreu is not typical. In his entire 9-year career, not including this year or 2020, José Abreu averages about 30 home runs a year. So in 2022, he cut his average home run directly in half, and that could be a slight concern. That's really the only concern in José Abreu's game right now, especially at the plate. Everything else looks fantastic. Just take a look at his Baseball Savant page. There's a lot of great signs in there, a lot of red, which is good, especially in the categories of expected batting average, expected slugging, and hard hit rate. He's toward the top of the league in all three of those, which to me indicates that he more so just had a down year power wise as opposed to having an issue with his power stroke. As for the actual contract itself, this year he made $18 million, but I don't think he's going to get anywhere near that in free agency. One, because of the fact that he did have that down power year, and there definitely are some concerns that we're going to talk about in a second, but two, because he's going to be turning 36 years old. The risk of regression gets higher and higher as you age, and you can only play for so long. So in my opinion, he's going to get less years and less average annual value because of those two factors. So just for the sake of this video, let's say that the contract to get José Abreu to the Boston Red Sox is going to be in the ballpark of 2 years, $26 million. Now, obviously that could differ a little bit, right? It could be 2 years, 23, 2 years, 28, somewhere around there, but in that range seems about right. So if we're talking about José Abreu making an impact on the Red Sox statistically, yeah, I could see him having a productive year in the middle of the order for the Red Sox, but there are some concerns. And my first concern is the fact that the Red Sox seem to want versatility at the DH position. Very specifically, Corey even stated that if he had his way, he would want versatility in the Red Sox lineup by having a DH that can play on the field as well as be a DH. Now with José Abreu, that's a little bit of a problem, and it's because he plays first base. He doesn't play a ton of other positions. And taking a look at the Red Sox first base, you have Tristan Casas, who I assume is going to be the majority stakeholder of games at that position. Then you have Eric Hosmer, who has a no trade clause, so you're kind of stuck with him for the foreseeable future. And finally, there is a possibility that the Red Sox start 2023 with Bobby Dahlbeck in the mix as well. That is 3 people already right off the bat at first base. Now you add in José Abreu and you kind of lose that ability to be versatile in the DH position. The most you could do is swap him and Eric Hosmer or him and Tristan Casas, but there isn't really a path to him being able to play, I don't know, 60 games on the field and have 100 games at DH. It just doesn't seem plausible. The second concern I have is how much of an upgrade he really is over JD. Here is the comparisons between the two players and their 2022 season. There really isn't much of a difference between their statistical numbers. There are certain areas where José Abreu kind of outshines JD Martinez. One of those is in actual hits, the other is in average, but besides that, they are within probably about 0.2 points between each other in almost every single category. They even almost grounded into the exact same amount of double plays. José Abreu had 19, JD Martinez had 20. They almost had the exact same amount of doubles. JD only had 3 more doubles. He had 43. José Abreu only had 40, right? So they're right around the same in terms of their production for the 2022 season. Obviously, I would give the edge to José Abreu, but how much of an edge is that? And that's honestly my biggest concern. If the Red Sox are going to want to upgrade the DH position, bringing in José Abreu, I don't know actually does that. You're getting about the same amount of production. So if you want to move on from a guy like JD, why bring in another guy who's exactly like him? In my opinion, their interest in José Abreu will go as far to see how much they can actually sign him for. If they actually want to have a solidified DH, a guy who is strictly a DH, because that's essentially what José Abreu will be if he becomes a Red Sox, it's going to come down to years and money. They're probably going to talk to JD, maybe see if they can get him on a super team friendly deal. But if José Abreu is available and is just a little bit more for a little bit less years, I could see the Red Sox moving in that direction. But again, that is only if the Red Sox truly want a just DH, a guy who only plays DH, and it doesn't seem like the Red Sox are going in that direction. So in my opinion, personally, should we sign José Abreu? I'm leaning towards no. I think there is a path to get a guy here who can hit for power, maybe a guy who can hit for average that can play at that DH role, as well as maybe slot into the outfield or something like that. So you can kind of cycle him in and out. So he's not just a typical DH. You get your versatility, you get your power, you get your average. You kind of solve a lot of issues on this Red Sox team. I just don't know if José Abreu is that guy. But I could be wrong. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of this rumor about José Abreu? Are you excited about it? Should we bring him in? What would your contract for José Abreu look like? Let me know all your thoughts on José Abreu coming to the Red Sox down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Plus, you made it to the end of this video, you might as well hit that sub button. You also might as well hit that like button as well. Helps these videos out a ton. It would mean a lot to me. Remember, 20% off on the merch right now. So if you guys do want some, it's the perfect time to get it. Link is in the description. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seat.